Hello friends and welcome. Today we are going to talk about eucalyptus essential oils. The main objectives of today's deliberation are: number 1, to know about morphology of eucalyptus. Second, to get insight about composition of essential oils in eucalyptus. Third, to know about yield and production of eucalyptus essential oil. Fourth, to find out methods of extraction of essential oils in eucalyptus. And finally, to make clear understanding about different uses of eucalyptus essential oils. To begin with, let me give a brief introduction. Essential oils are concentrated volatile aromatic compounds produced by plants, the easily evaporated essences that give plants their wonderful scents. Each of these complex precious liquids is extracted from a particular species of plant life. Essential oils are frequently referred to as the life force of plants. Unlike fatty oils, these essential oils are volatile, highly concentrated substances extracted from flowers, leaves, stems, roots, seeds, bark, resin, fruit rinds. The amount of essential oils found in these plants can be anywhere from 0.01% to 10% of the total. That's why tons of plant material are required for just a few hundred pounds of oil. These oils have potent antimicrobial factors, having a wide range of therapeutic constituents. These oils are often used for their flavor and their therapeutic or odoriferous properties in a wide selection of products such as foods, medicines, and cosmetics. Essential oils are extracted from oil sacs in flowers, leaves, stems, roots, seeds, wood, and bark. Essential oils are used by the plants in somewhat the same way they are by humans. They fight infection, contain hormone-like compounds, initiate cellular regeneration, and work as chemical defense against fungal, viral, and animal foes. One of important genera of Myrtaceae is eucalyptus, which is a large genus of evergreen trees and shrubs containing about 700 species. Although most of plants are native to Australia and Tasmania, they have been successfully introduced worldwide and are cultivated in many other countries. It grows over a wide range of soils and climates, hence has been introduced into North and South Africa, Asia, and Southern Europe. Eucalyptus trees are among the most important hardwood forest crops worldwide and provide a major source of pulpwood for high-quality paper production. Eucalyptus timber is used for construction and fuel, and eucalyptus gum is used for diarrhea and as an astringent in dentistry. Moreover, eucalyptus has been prized a rich source of essential oils. Essential oils of various species have been used in the pharmaceutical, cosmetics, food industries, and medicinal purposes. In the cosmetics industry, eucalyptus essential oil is used in detergents, toiletries, and little employed in perfumes and as flavoring agent in food. In addition, the essential oils of eucalyptus species possesses important biological activities, including diaphoretic, disinfectant, antimalarial, antiseptic, analgesic, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, expectorant, and antioxidant properties. Now, let's talk about morphology of eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is a fast-growing, medium-sized to tall tree attaining 20 to 50 meters in height and up to 2 meters in diameter, and is strongly coppicing tree possessing a wide range of soil and climatic adaptability. Eucalyptus is known for its drought hardiness, although annual rainfall of 800 millimeters is preferred. The species grows under a wide range of climatic or soil conditions, from warm to hot, subhumid to humid, and from good to degraded soils. The flowers tend to be grouped into inflorescences, with the exception of Eucalyptus globulus, which has single flowers. The flowers form distinctive fruits with a ribbed receptacle often topped by the remains of valves from the upper part of the ovary. Bark varies from ribbed to the smooth and can be distinctly deciduous, peeling off to leaving new bark of a strongly contrasting color. In contrast, the bark may be persistent and sometimes very hard as in the group of ironbark species, or it may be fibrous and deeply furrowed. The leaves are also variable in both shape and color, but generally narrow and long in relation to their breadth, that is, lanceolate. They are positioned alternately on the branchlets. Many species demonstrate the production of juvenile foliage which is quite different and distinctive from the mature foliage. It is possible to see both types of foliage on a single tree at the same time. Indeed, Eucalyptus globulus often demonstrates this property. Eucalyptus plants are usually trees or shrubs. Bark smooth, fibrous, stringy, or tessellated. Leaves usually polymorphic with different juvenile and mature forms and sometimes with intermediate forms. Juvenile leaves opposite 3 to several pairs, shortly petiolate or sessile. Leaf blade often glaucous or with glandular trichomes. Juvenile foliage sometimes persisting throughout life of plant. Mature leaves alternate, petiolate, leaf blade usually leathery, secondary veins numerous, with intramarginal veins. Inflorescences axillary or clustered into terminal or axillary panicles consisting of umbelliform condensed dichasia. Flowers bisexual, hypanthium campanulate, obconic or semiglobose, stipitate or not, apex usually truncate, sepals rarely distinct, petals connate, either adennate to sepals into one-layered calyptra or not adennate and then with connate sepals forming a two-layered calyptras. Calyptra deciduous at anthesis. Stamens numerous, usually distinct, in several whorls with outer whorl usually sterile. Anthers two-celled, parallel or oblique, elliptic, ovate, caudate or bifurcate. Dehiscing longitudinally or occasionally porically. Ovary adennate to hypanthium 2 to 7 loculed. Ovules numerous. Style persistent. Whole or most of capsule included in expanded hypanthium. Disc often well developed. Valves exerted from hypanthium, equaling hypanthium rim or included in hypanthium. Seeds numerous, many sterile and undeveloped, developed seeds ovate or angular, testa ridged, sometimes developed into wings. Now, let's talk about its cultivation. Eucalypts are among the most widely cultivated forest trees in the world. The major eucalyptus growing countries are China 170 million hectares, India 2.5 million hectares, and Brazil 3.7 million hectares. In Africa, South Africa has the largest area under eucalyptus plantation of about 500,000 hectares. Eucalyptus species are propagated from seed and through vegetative means. Planting material is collected from trees with superior characteristics like tall, good form, little taper and healthy. Propagation from seeds. Seed collection. Eucalyptus fruit ripen at various times of the year depending on the species. Seed is obtained from well-developed mature brownish capsules. The capsules are collected from crowns of standing trees or from felled trees during tree harvesting. There is usually a long interval between seed ripening and opening of the capsules, which offers an opportunity to plan for seed collection. Moreover, wind dispersal of seeds takes place a month or two after the opening of the capsules. The major challenge in seed collection is How to reach capsules from the tall standing trees. It requires trained tree climbers who can collect the capsules from tall trees. The other challenge is timing when most capsules are ripe, as they are usually at different stages of development on the same branch. Seed extraction, cleaning and drying. After collection, the capsules are sun-dried by spreading them on a thin layer of tarpaulin or plastic sheets to open. The capsules are then threshed lightly to release seeds and unfertilized ovules that are usually referred to as chaff. The seeds are cleaned by removing large impurities such as capsules, twigs, and leaves. It is not easy to separate the seed and chaff mixture by ordinary means, and therefore the mixture is handled together after removal of large impurities. The seeds are further sun-dried to the required moisture content of less than 10% before storage or distribution. The ratio of chaff to seed varies from species to species and ranges between 5:1 to 30:1. The number of seeds per kilogram also varies with species. For example, a kilogram of clean Eucalyptus grandis has about 3 lakh seeds, while that of Eucalyptus camaldulensis has about 20 lakh seeds. Seed storage. After proper drying, seeds of most eucalyptus species can be stored in airtight containers at room temperature for 1 to 2 years without significant loss of viability. For long-term storage, the seeds should be fumigated or treated with various pesticides and stored under cold temperatures, usually about 4 degrees Celsius, at a moisture content of 4 to 6%. Seed sowing and germination. Seeds of most eucalyptus readily germinate without any pretreatment. Small-sized eucalyptus seeds are usually mixed with sand, sawdust, or fine soil before sowing for even distribution on the seed bed. The mixture is spread thinly and evenly on the seed bed and covered lightly with a thin layer of fine soil. The seeds are kept moist by watering 1 to 2 times per day, depending on prevailing weather conditions. Germination of most eucalyptus will occur within 7 to 14 days after sowing. Germinating seedlings require shading to ensure that the top layers of soil on germination beds do not dry out. This can be achieved by placing a sheet of Hessian cloth or some light thatch of vegetation over the seedbed. Seedlings are pricked out into containers or Swaziland bed when they have 2 leaves. With proper watering and hygiene, the seedlings are ready for field planting after 3 to 5 months, when they have attained a height of 30 centimeters and above. Due to sensitivity to desiccation, it is preferred that seedlings are grown in containers such as plastic pots and tubes. Other containers used include dry banana barks, used milk packets, and any other appropriate containers. Seedlings that are raised in open beds, such as bare-rooted seedlings, especially in low rainfall areas, have high mortality after field planting. It is therefore important to synchronize raising of seedlings with onset of the rainy season. Second type of propagation is vegetative propagation. The most commonly used method for vegetative propagation of eucalyptus is cuttings. Other methods used to a limited scale are grafting and tissue culture. The vegetatively propagated materials are called clones because they are duplicated genetic copies of the original individuals. Eucalyptus species that are raised through vegetative methods include Eucalyptus grandis, Eucalyptus saligna, Eucalyptus camaldulensis, and Eucalyptus europhylla, and their hybrids. Hybrids can only be raised through vegetative methods, widely known as cloning. Cuttings for propagation of eucalyptus are obtained from seedlings of 1 to 2 years of age. Cuttings can also be obtained from mature trees by felling and allowing them to copicize. Cuttings are dipped into a rooting powder that is 0.8% indole butyric acid, that's IBA, before staking into the rooting media. The media used for rooting can be clay, subsoil, sand or vermiculite. The cuttings are then staked into the beds that are wetted before covering with a polyethylene sheet to keep humidity high through condensation. The widely adopted methods of humidity control in the country are by use of plastic tunneling and mist propagators. Tunnels are non-mist propagation structures made of translucent, flexible covering such as polyethylene sheets as propagation chambers. The polyethylene sheet is tightly stretched over hoops, semicircular in shape and buried at the foot of the beds in soil. Thorough watering is done immediately after planting the cuttings, and thereafter high-level moisture is maintained by watering every 10 to 14 days depending on climatic conditions. A shade is provided over the tunnel to prevent drying of the cuttings from overexposure to the sun. Rooting of cuttings begins after 2 weeks. The rooted cuttings are transferred into containers and watering continued for the next 40 days as they are gradually exposed to full sunlight. The rooted cuttings are then maintained in the open for about 90 days when they are about 20 centimeters tall and ready for transplanting in the field. Grafting has been used to clone desired selected parents for seed orchid development, but in most cases the compatibility between the rootstock and the scion is poor, and the lifespan of the trees tends to be short. Tissue culture of eucalyptus has been successfully undertaken in Kenya, but is only used as a starter to propagate clones that are most difficult to root. Planting. Planting should commence following the onset of rains and wetting of the upper 30 centimeters of soil. Seedlings are planted when they are about 30 centimeters tall. If the seedlings are in polyethylene tubes, the tubes should be carefully removed before planting to avoid root deformity and to allow quick contact with field soil. Fertilizer applied at planting time improves seedling growth. Replacing of dead seedlings that's beating up should be done within a month or not more than 6 months after planting. Seedlings planted later than this end up being suppressed if survival is more than 70%. Now, let us discuss methods of essential oil extraction in eucalyptus. Essential oils are secondary metabolites produced by plants in response to stress, infection, or parasitic attack. Eucalyptus oils are volatile organic compounds found in fruits, flowers, bark, seeds, wood, and roots. However, they are mainly extracted from leaves. There are 5 extraction methods. Number 1. Hydrodistillation. It involves placing plant material and water in a container and heating from below. The heat releases the aromatic vapor which is condensed into liquid containing little hydrosol, that is water. Total oil yield increases with increase in distillation time, but the principal component reduces accordingly. Second, steam distillation. It involves placing the plant material in a flask and forcing steam through the plant material to vaporize the volatile oils. It is similar to hydrodistillation, but higher oil yield is obtained. Third, vacuum distillation. To extract essential oils from many eucalyptus species, vacuum distillation is done at lower temperatures, avoiding the change in essential oil chemical composition during distillation. 4. Supercritical fluid extraction. It uses the ability of certain gases, generally carbon dioxide is used, to act as non-polar solvents at certain temperatures and pressure. It is more efficient and faster than hydrodistillation. Number 5. Subcritical water extraction. It uses hot water 100 to 374 degrees Celsius as extractant at high pressure. It is faster and efficient than hydrodistillation, The advantages are shorter extraction time, high quality of extract, lower costs of extracting agent, and environment friendly. Now, coming to essential oil yields. The yields of eucalyptus oils from leaves depends on the species studied and varies from 0.10 to 9% on dry weight basis. Several factors affect the eucalyptus oil yields: tree age, leaf age, altitude, season, harvest time, and fertilizer application. Young leaves contain more oil than old leaves, while leaves from older trees gave slightly higher yield. However, oil production is more influenced by altitude than age. Oil content also fluctuates with season. Application of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium fertilizers increases the production of essential oils in eucalyptus. Now, let us talk about composition of eucalyptus essential oil. Eucalyptol, 1,8-cineol, is the major chemical component of the oils obtained from the leaves for the majority of medicinal species of eucalyptus, such as Eucalyptus stageriana, Eucalyptus globulus, Eucalyptus europhylla. Nevertheless, the main component in other species of eucalyptus may be a different compound, such as piperitone in Eucalyptus dives, E-methylcinnamate in Eucalyptus ollida, alpha-pinene in Eucalyptus camaldulensis, limonene in Eucalyptus stageriana, beta-citronellin in Eucalyptus citriodora, and P-cymene in Eucalyptus terpsichorni. The main volatile compound identified in all of the aerial parts of Eucalyptus cinerea collected seasonally was 1,8-cineol, which reached a concentration of 85.32%. In addition to this compound, others that were found included alpha-pinene, limonene, alpha-terpineol, and alpha-terpinyl acetate. The main components in most of the eucalyptus species are monoterpenes, such as 1,8-cineol, P-cymene, citronellin, citronellol, limonene, alpha-phellandrene, beta-phellandrene, alpha-pinene, beta-pinene, trans-pirocarbiol, terpineolene, alpha-terpineol, alpha-thujene, and sesquiterpenes such as beta-caryophyllene, beta-udesmol, globulol, spatulinol, and viridiflorol. Now, finally coming to uses of eucalyptus essential oils. Eucalyptus essential oils are gaining increasing interest due to their varied commercial applications, particularly as insect repellents, fragrants, and traditional medicines. Eucalyptus essential oils are widely used in many industries and mainly in therapeutic natural medicine. Eucalyptus essential oil has a range of bioactivity such as antimicrobial, antiviral, fungicidal, insecticidal, anti-inflammatory, antinociceptive activity, antioxidant capacity, and phytotoxic activity. Its essential oils have many medicinal and commercial uses. They can be used as folk medicine and are anesthetic, anodyne, antiperiodic, antiphlogistic, antiseptic, astringent, deodorant, diaphoretic, disinfectant, expectorant, febrifuge, fumigant, hemostat, inhalant, insect repellent, preventative, rubefacient, sedative yet stimulant, suppurative, tonic, and vermifuge. Some of the uses of eucalyptus essential oils are: number 1, traditional medicinal use. Eucalyptus is a traditional medicine plant to treat cold, flu, fever, diabetics, and bronchial infections, or to prevent and control other pathogenic diseases. Eucalyptus oil-based products are used as topically applied medication to relieve muscular pain and as solvent or sealer in dentistry and as disinfectant. The bioactive components identified from eucalyptus essential oils may develop new classes of analgesic and anti-inflammatory drugs. Second, insecticidal activity. The oil is used as an insect repellent since 1948, and now many commercial repellents are available in US and China. A commercial mosquito repellent has also been developed from paramenthane 3A-diol isolated from Eucalyptus striodora. It has been reported that eucalyptus oil-based products ranked fourth amongst the insecticides used for repelling insects from beehives. The insecticidal activity of eucalyptus oils could provide opportunities for new biodegradable products for pest control. Third, antimicrobial activity. It has been reported that Eucalyptus teratocornis essential oils has antibacterial activity against 6 bacterial species such as Staphylococcus aureus, Bacillus cereus, Escherichia coli, Micrococcus luteus, Proteus mirabilis, and Alkaligenes facialis. Other species of eucalyptus have also shown potent antimicrobial activity. Number 4. Antifungal activity. Eucalyptus striodora essential oil is effective against Microsporum nanum, Trichophyton mentagoraphytes, and Trichophyton rubrum. Pure oil controlled Microsporum nanum in 20 seconds and Trichophyton mentagoraphytes and Trichophyton rubrum in only 15 seconds. It was more effective than prevalent synthetic antifungal drugs such as Dectrin, Nizrol, and Tenoderm, without any adverse side effects on mammalian skin up to 5% concentration. Eucalyptus striodora oil has also clinical value in dermatophytosis when used as a broad-spectrum antimycotic ointment. Eucalyptus robusta, Eucalyptus rostrata, Eucalyptus camaldulensis, Eucalyptus teratocornis, Eucalyptus globulus, and Eucalyptus striodora oils are antibacterial and antifungal. Number 5. Antioxidant activity. Eucalyptus oils also possess antioxidant activity due to the presence of phenolic compounds and their radical scavenging properties. They can also trigger a series of induced chemical defense responses. Number 6. Herbicidal activity. Volatile allelochemicals derived from eucalyptus oils also have herbicidal activity against many weed species. However, the phytotoxic activity of eucalyptus oils can also cause damage to some crops like wheat, rice, maize, etc. It is therefore critical to maximize the herbicidal activity of eucalyptus oils against weeds, but at the same time to minimize the negative impact of the crop growth. Other uses. Eucalyptus oils are widely used in fragrance industry such as soaps and detergents, creams, lotion, deodorizer, perfumes, and as flavoring agent in food industry. Eucalyptus oils are also used as a flotation agent in the mining industry and as a source of citronellin for the chemical industry. With this, we come to the end of today's lecture. Hope this was helpful. Thank you.